everybody. I thought it was about time for another update on Flappy Bird. I've made some progress since the last time I published a video on it, and I've implemented pretty much all the features in the game that I want, plus a couple that I hadn't anticipated on. Last time we played the game, this is how it played, and it was pretty hard. I knew it was pretty hard, but I was having a little trouble getting the different gravity and flap thrust values to work well, and I thought I was going to have to redo all the pipe graphics to give myself more flexibility, but it turned out that I just had everything set too high in a certain way, and if I moved everything down, then it slowed the game down to something more playable. So with some feedback, I found out different people had different difficulty and skill preferences and things like that. So I decided to make the game have selectable difficulty. And right now I don't have any display on the screen, but on the title screen you can press 1 through 4 and choose difficulty. We were just playing on difficulty 4. Difficulty 2 is the default, and that's the one that's most tuned like the original Flappy Bird. And from what I can tell, lots of watching the original footage, this is pretty close approximation to it. And it's still not easy, for most people. I've done so much playing Flappy Bird now that I've got it down pretty well. I've gotten some pretty high scores on these. In fact, the easiest difficulty, I just quit at 330. I was trying to kind of come up with some beat the dev scores to post along with it, on the X16 forums. But anyway, this is the standard difficulty, and the biggest implementation here is the high score, and it counts up, lights up the medal you have, and so forth like that. And since I have selectable difficulties, I actually make it track the the different high scores independently from each other. So when you come back here, if you switch to the difficulty 3, when you end the game, it has a different high score. But if you go back to difficulty 2, it remembers that score. I need part of my implementation for displaying the difficulty. I'm going to make some little decals that have the names of the difficulty modes. I'm going to have wimpy, hard, hardest, and brutal, something like that. And one that's not going to show on the screen, but I'm going to have in the game here, you can also press this one that I call Dark Souls mode, and it's real hard. I think 3 is my record on this, but it is actually possible, so I think I'm going to include it there. I might add a feature where when you select Dark Souls, it changes the pipes to red and makes the clouds look dark or something like that. The other thing you see right here is that little red bar up in the top left, and that's a measure of the CPU busy time on the game. The red is the time spent drawing the sprites, and the yellow is the time spent doing the sound engine. And what I thought was interesting is the fact that you see there's some blue up above the red there, and that's because the kernel is still doing some of its per frame update stuff before it gives control back to my game. And if I up the number of sprites the game's allowed to use, it as you can see, when it's thinking about more sprites, the kernel spends more time before it gives control back to the game. But I've got lots of CPU time available, which lets me be lazy in my code in lots of ways. But that was part of this, was try to do a good job, but I didn't want to just go totally engine mode on here. This is kind of about halfway being an engine and halfway being a purpose-built game. But anyway, that's the state of things, and thanks for watching.